one GUI or IDE for MySQL. Okay, it's nothing but EDSQL. You can just see here. This is also free. You can just download it. Okay, so while installing, you know that the user by default the username will be root. So while installing, install only the MySQL server. It will give four options. People who want to install in your laptop, while you download MySQL, it will ask you to select which are the things you want to select. MySQL server, MySQL workbench, then other two it will ask. So don't select other thing, only select only MySQL server. That workbench is that UI is not, we can go for this PDSQL. Download only MySQL server. Out of four, you need to download only MySQL server. Once you download, right? Yeah, while you're installing, it will ask for the configuration of the server. You need to provide the password for the root. Root will be the admin. Root will be the admin, and you need to provide the. It's, it's so the root password, remember, guys. Root password should be remembered because using that password only you will be connected to the database. So that's all. So once that is done, you need to download this PD SQL. It's something like Eclipse for Java. It's something like Eclipse for Java. Similarly, this is the IDE for MySQL. Okay. So here you can just look here network type MariaDB or MySQL have to select. Here you have to select library libmysql only. Libmysql. User is root. Password is whatever you are given. So that's what I have to remember. Then the port number of MySQL is always 3306. That's all. Hmm? Yeah. Before that, you need to create a new connection also here. You just ask me. I'll just show you how to do that. I just say open. So here it will show the name of the databases. Here it will show the name of the databases. So we need to create a database. We need to create a database. So I'll be creating this database. Okay. So here there will be query tab, people. Here there will be a query tab. For example, you can just select a new query tab also here. Here you can just create a new query tab, and I can just give the command create database. For example, I'm just telling. So I'll just say create database test. Okay. So I'll select this and just say run selection. So once I do that, you can see here, it should come here. The database, whatever you create, and it should come here. So it's not coming means you have to select the database server and just say refresh. Here's the refresh symbol. Now I'm getting this test. Okay. So next, use test. Select this, and here you have the option to run selection. Run selection. So here it will show the status. As you go on executing, here it will show the status affected. Hmm? So use test as soon as you see here, you'll get a green tick mark here. It means out of many databases, test is as of now used. So now you can create the table. Now we'll create a table. Okay. So table. So I'll create a small table with customer ID, name, password, and email. So this is something like registration table. Okay. This is something but a registration table. You can add more fields. It's up to the user. Okay. So file load SQL file. Okay, I think it's in my. So as we are using JDBC, you need to create a table by ourselves. When you go for Hibernate and JPA, the tables will be created automatically. Only in JDBC ourselves, we need to create the table, like we need to specify the column, data type, everything. But when you jump on to Hibernate and JPA in Spring Boot, just you need to have this database. That's all. Then tables will be created automatically, columns, everything will be created automatically. We are doing everything from the programming side. Again, we are not writing the programming code. We are just writing annotations, just giving annotations, automatically tables, columns, everything will be created. Primary key, foreign key, everything will be created from the programming part. Only as we are using JDBC, we need to create the table ourselves. Okay, so this is something like registration of user, people. This is for nothing but registration of a user. Yes. So table is created. So just refresh it. That's all. So under test, yeah, test, the user table is created. Okay. So just select this user. Now go to table here. Table. It will show the structure. Data. It will show the records. As of now, it's not there. No, it's empty records. Table, data. Table, data. So we just created a database called as test user. So as I told you, we are creating a registration and login application for registration purpose, and require ID, name, password, and email field. And ID is a auto increment, so automatically increment. You need not enter the values for the ID. So make a note, make a point that always the primary key field should be auto incremented. You're not supposed to enter the values by ourselves. 1, 2, 3 like that. Go on auto increment. So that's why we are supposed to enter only name, password, and email. So you can go for more things. Okay, but if you see today, it's all short forms, is it not? Short registration forms. So like that. So that's why I just created a database. So I have a database called as test, and I have a table called as user. So this is one-time job. Okay. So based on this only, I'll be what? Registering and logging in. Clear? So in the database, you need to create one database called as, okay, for real time, we'll be using ShopStop, and table name is user. Okay, so don't give the project names as demo, hello world. Now onwards give something else, shopping or banking, something like that. Okay, and files you create, that you can just give like that, hello, all those things. So this is a one-time setup, people. Now we'll come to Eclipse. We'll just come to Eclipse. So as usual, we'll just create a project. So first of all, we need to look into the design pattern what we saw. That's nothing but MVC design pattern. So we'll be designing a web application based on a MVC and DAO pattern. Okay. So this is as usual, new dynamic web project. Okay, I just reverse it as stop shop. Okay. I just reverse it as stop shop. Now just look here, people. Everyone make sure that while creating a project, this target runtime is selected. Target runtime is selected based on whichever version of Tomcat you have. Okay, otherwise you'll get that javax.servlet error or Jakarta error. Make a note. So make sure that by default it will be selected. In case if it is not selected, make sure that you get selected. That's all. Yes. So as I told you, we'll be creating a MVC based application. Is it not? Model view and controller. So after this, what we used to do? We used to create a servlet or a JSP file. Is it not? Now we have to design our application. We have to implement the design pattern. Okay, we need to create a model view and controller packages. So previously, where did you create a package while we added a servlet? While we're adding a servlet, is it not? So now instead of that, you just go to ShopStop. So create a new package, people. Create a new package. Yeah, in other it will be that. So com dot sidac dot training dot stop shop dot model. Got the point? So previously, the base package is still stop shop. Com dot sidac dot training dot shop stop. Now we are creating MVC design pattern. That's why I'm just adding model dot model. So I'll just copy this part till stop stop so that I can create other packages. Just say finish. Hmm? So on src main Java, automatically you get created this. Again, now I'll go to src main Java only. So we know that now packages will be here only, is it not? So src main Java, right click, new package. Okay, shop dot controller. Shop dot controller. But actually you have to give controller, is it not? Instead of that, for my reference, I'll use servlet. Controller means what? Servlet. So that's why I'm just making it as a servlet. Com dot sidac dot training dot shop dot servlet. Okay. So now module is done, controller is done. Now view. So view is nothing but web app. View is nothing but web app. In case if you want, you can create one folder here, view also. But web app is a view. But yeah, so that is done. Now I need to connect to the database, right? I need to connect to the database. So that's why I'll create one more package here. We'll create one more package dot DAO. Dot DAO. Like that. So design patterns are implemented. I mean to say the structure is implemented. Now I will be connecting to the one what database, is it not? So I'll be using this connection properties of MySQL in different servlets. Okay. So for that reason, I'll create one more package called as connection package, which has only the connection method. So whenever we require, I can call that method. Instead of that, each time you creating a connection methods in every servlets, I'll create one normal class to call the connections, SQL connection. Okay. So one more package dot connection dot connection. Fine. So next, I'm designing a web application. I'm designing a web application. So I require images. I require style. I require styles. I require images. So I need to create a images folder. Where? Web app folder. This will be folders. Okay. So whatever you do on the views, now that will be folders, people. So right click on web app, new folder, images. One more, new folder, CSS. We could have selected style also. We could have created a folder called as style. Done? Yes. So now, so I'm done with the structure now. I'm done with the structure. MVC and DAO pattern for implementing the MVC and DAO pattern. So once that is done, we require a jar file. We require a jar file. We require a jar file. So normally from where you download the jar file? So just go to Maven repository. There's one website called as Maven repository. I'll search for that. So here I can search for any of the jar files. Okay. So what is the jar file? MySQL connector. The jar file is MySQL connector. I'm searching here. So MySQL connector J. Yes. So from here you can just see, observe here we have the latest version of the MySQL connectors. Okay. Of course you can directly give in the Google and you can do that. But this is the authenticated one. You might have heard about Maven, is it not? From Hibernate and Spring Framework onwards, we'll be creating a Maven project so that all the jar files will be automatically downloaded from this particular website. That's why. So just look here, it will give a list of the jar files required for the connecting to the database. So you can go for the, just look, it is 8 version 8 only. Huh? You always should select with the highest downloads. With the highest downloads. Okay, now just look here. We are 8.033, 8.1, like that. So any jar file with the highest download, I will select. I'll select this for example, 8.1.0. Okay. Here, files jar. This option called as jar. Click on that. So automatically jar file is downloaded. Automatically jar file is downloaded. Okay. Next, again, I'll go here. I'll download JSTL. In case if you are using JSTL tags instead of scriptlets later. Okay. We can also use search for JSTL. JSTL. Same way. Yes. JSTL 1.2. So it's in my downloads folder. Hmm? So these are the two jar files I download. MySQL connector and JSL. It's my downloads folder. Is it not? I'll copy it. I'll copy it. Go to Eclipse. I'll go to the lib folder. I'll go to the lib folder and we need to paste it. That's all. MySQL and JSL are here. So in core Java applications, we used to configure the build path, right? So here we have to do this format. That's all. So my jar files are here. Now I'll be able to connect to the database. I'll be able to connect to the database. So this is the setup I need to do. This is the setup file we need to setup we need to do for creating a MVC based J2AA application, web application. Okay. So now we'll be creating the HTML files. Now we'll be creating the HTML files, JSP files, all those things. Done? Okay. So now I'll continue with my project, what we have done yesterday. So remember guys, we created an images folder, is it not? We created a images folder. So once you added the jar files, the next job is to add the images. So just copy and paste directly here the images. Got the point? You can add it later. As you want the images, you can just download from somewhere and you can just copy and paste. Similarly, we have a CSS here. Similarly, we have a CSS. Okay. We can create a CSS. All the style sheets under this. So what I did in the first is, I created a first thing is index.jsp file. Okay. I created a index.jsp. Why I created a JSP file? Because I want that headers and footers below. Okay. I could have done with HTML also. In HTML also we can create what? Headers, footers, navigation bars. Okay, with a div tag. But as we are learning JSP, I can include the header and footer easily. Na? So that is why I'm just created a JSP file of index. So why index, people? The first page which opens in a website is called as what? Index. So by default, the first thing you have to do is index.jsp. We created a index.jsp file. Okay. So prior to that, I created a footer.html. We created a footer.html and I'm just giving internal styles. Here for this, I'm just giving internal style. Okay. Plus, we have a header. So what does header consist of? Here also I'm just giving internal style. So it has images. Just look at this is how we can implement the images. Okay. So image source equals images slash shopstop1.png. So it's referring to this image. Okay. Just look here, I'm not giving any name here. I'm just giving HTTP localhost 8081 shop stop. Directly it is taking to me here. Why? Index. Okay, so just look here. So just typing HTTP colon localhost 8080 slash stop shop. Okay. One na. Correct na. 1 minute. Stop shop. Yeah. Port number is 8081. Yes. So by default, it's taking to index.jsp. By default, it is taking to index.jsp. Okay. So this image, I want to display this image. So that's the reason I'm just giving this. What I'm just giving images slash shopstop 1.png. Why? We have a folder here, images. That's what. Then you have specified height, all those things. Yeah. So, and I have a links, login, registration, and about. Login, registration, and about. So we have a hyperlinks. So it's a plain, this is an HTML file. I'm just showing how you put an image, how you give a images link. Images folder is there, and from there. Next footer also showed you, right? So I designed first that, and next we went to index.jsp. Just look, yeah. In the body, the very first one is include. So that's why on the top we are getting what? Header. We're getting a header. The top, the very first one is include. Then, yeah, just look here. This H3, all those things we are giving. And this is nothing but card, bootstrap. Okay, we use the bootstrap, not bootstrap or style sheets only, sorry, CSS only. Hmm? Yes, before that, we included the external CSS, index.css. Okay, so what is index.css? You can just look here, card. Yeah, I created this style sheet. We created this. Of course, we are not typing all those things. We are copying and pasting it. We are modifying it as per our requirement. So index dot or this CSS is there. So that's why these three images are displaying like that. Okay, column wise with the help of CSS. And the last, what we have? Footer. Got the point? So what is there of JSP? Only 2 lines. This side? Yes. Then the rest are all HTML and CSS. Okay. So that you can do it easily. So once that is done, what is the first job? Is nothing but register. The first job is register. Okay. So this I kept it dummy. Nothing is happening. You can also link with the Gmail and Facebook sign up like that. Okay. So now we are giving the username, email, and password. So we will be logging with the email ID and password. We'll be logging with the email ID and password. So just now, previously, what we did, we created a table for that in MySQL, matching with these fields. Only ID is not there. ID will be automatically generated. So what is the first job of this? So you will design what? UI. The request is designed. Request template is designed now. What is the next job? You need to think about the model class. You need to think about the model class. Okay. The first thing you need to think about the model class. So what is this model class? Where we define the data for your web application. So here, in the SRC main Java, we have a model, is it not? Under this now, yeah. So when you create packages, now we have to right click on that particular packages and we have to add a classes, servlets, etc. So previously I was telling what you right click on stop shop and you have to do that, is it not, on your project? So now onwards, when you're doing an MVC application, if you want to add a model class, right click and just say Add new class. Okay, only controller will be servlet. Model will be what? Class. So I just added a normal class with the name user. Add a normal class with the name user. Okay. So I have declared this properties. What are these properties? It is mapped with the this you need to follow in any software, any programming language you use. It might be .NET or Spring or Servlet JSP like that. So your model class should map with your table field. So table name is also user. Your class name is also user. So you know how to generate a constructor, right? Eclipse, everyone? Yes or no? How? Right click, source, generate constructor from super class, generate constructor using fields, and generate getters and setters. So I just declare these properties, default constructor, parameterized constructor, getters and setters. Okay, so this much we are done. So model class is done. Okay. So what next? What next? So now the servlet will come into picture, is it not? What actually we should be doing? The servlet will come into picture. Before that, we need to create a connection. We need to create a connection. So you can just see here, we have a package called as connection, and under that we created a normal class called as DB connection. DB connection means what? Database connection. Got it? So I'm creating a static method here with the name get connection. So what is this statement? We're loading the JDBC driver. We're connecting to the using this JDBC protocol, using the MySQL driver. I'm connecting to this localhost, my server with the port number this, to this database with this username and password. Just for my usefulness, I'm just saying to get understand whether it's connected or not. No, I'm just putting this SOP. It will print in the console. Okay, so it will return the connection object. It will return this object. So wherever I require this SQL connection, I'll call the function. Okay, this is like what we can just say one utility method. It's the utility method to create a connection. Wherever I require, I'll call this and I'll execute the queries. I'll execute the queries. So if you're not doing this, in each servlet, I need to create this. In each DAO, I need to create this method. So I'm creating only once. So next part is before going to servlet, I'll work on DAO. So I created a class called as user DAO. User DAO. Okay, why? This layer will be used to connect to the database. This layer is used to connect to the database. Okay. So just look here. So here I will be having all the methods related to the user. So user, what I can do? I can register a user and I can log in with the user details. Two actions. So I have a save. Save is nothing but what? Register. Save is nothing but register. I'm trying to register. Okay. So just look here. I'm calling that connection method. Which one? DB connection dot get connection. Why am I using DB connection? Because it was a static method. Static method should be called with the name of the class. That's why. Okay. What is prepared statement? Which will take the values at runtime. So just look here, people. I'm calling the setter methods of which one? The model class to insert the values. First value, second value, and third value. Name, password, and email. So what actually happens, people? Your form will be, this form will be binded with what? The model classes. This form will be binded with the model class. This form will be binded with the model class. So When you click on submit, whatever you are entered, na, that details will be going and storing in which one? Model. Using which method? Setter methods. Using setter methods. Okay. So if you just see your register.jsp, yeah. Register.jsp, you can just see here, this is copied from somewhere, the template. Okay. So here people, label input type equals password. Yeah. Make sure that you're giving name and ID. Name and ID. For all the form fields now, make sure that you're giving name and ID fields. So this should match what? This name and ID should match what? Model. Okay. The ID and name in the form should match with the model. It's a good practice. So that when you click on submit using setters, your data will be stored where? So what is the use of the setter? Whatever you enter, then it is taken here and it will be storing in this dot name, this dot ID, password. Yeah. Before that, I just want to tell you my password is encrypted. Okay. My password is encrypted. So I just want to show it here in data, user data. My password is encrypted. Otherwise, the person who knows the database password will open and see, right? So that's why we did the simple encryption. That is what called as using base 64. It's easy. Base 64. It's a feature of Java 8. It's a feature in Java 8. So just look at this particular 2 lines of statement. So in all the previous case, what happens? Whatever email you enter, that is stored in the email field, is it not? But in this case, in this password, what is stored? Encrypted password. So how we are encrypting? Using this base 64. Okay. So for this, you need to import from the util package, java.util.base 64. Okay. Only for while setting, only the password I'm encrypting. The rest are all as it is stored. So we're talking about now here. Execute updates. Why execute updates? Because when you're performing DML operations, it should be what? Execute update. When you're performing the select operation, what it is? Query. Execute query. So this we are calling that connection. This is what I was trying to tell you. You can call it whenever you require. Hmm? Hmm. You're sleeping. You need to upgrade your website, web application. No, then where are you sleeping? Where are you sleeping then? Yes. So hope this is clear, people. JDBC. Only thing is just look here. Everyone knows JDBC. Now, how we are calling that, that should be important. How we are designing and how we are calling that from various classes, that you should be knowing. So, we have a save method. We have a save method. What does this do? It will save the data, whatever you enter in the form. Okay. So, status, you know, right? It is of type integer. When you perform the DML operations like insert, update, and delete, it will just show what? 1 record inserted, 5 records deleted. So DML operations will always return what? Integer. That's why execute update will save the record in a database using this connection. Okay, cool. So now what normally happens is you'll be here. From here, you'll be clicking on register.jsp. Again, I'll come back. Index is loaded. When you click on register, you'll get to register.jsp. So how it is coming? We have a hyperlink there. I showed you that, right? Simple hyperlink in which one? Header.html. So in header.html, I have this. It should take you to register.jsp. Now we'll go to register.jsp here. So here, what we are doing is, we are performing the DML operations like insert, update, and delete. It will just show what? 1 record inserted, 5 records deleted. So DML operations will always return what? Integer. That's why execute update will save the record in a database using this connection. Okay, cool. So now what normally happens is you'll be here. From here, you'll be clicking on register.jsp. Again, I'll come back. Index is loaded. When you click on register, you'll get to register.jsp. So how it is coming? We have a hyperlink in which one? form action you need to check. What is that? Registration servlet. When you click on the form, it will take you to registration servlet. So what is that? That's a controller, people. That's a controller. It's under servlet, okay? It's under servlet, okay? So what will be the first statement here into get? I have a form, and from form I'm going to controller. Sorry, yeah, servlet. What is it? What is the first statement? Request dot. That's what. Okay, I want to get the details of whatever you enter in the form. So username, email, and password. This is just for confirmation. I'm just giving this message. It's not required in servlet. So now I'm creating a new user object. Why? The user object has to be saved in a table. The user object has to be saved in a table. I'm setting the values with name, email, and password. Name, email, and password. What is it? Whatever you entered in the form. Whatever you entered in the password, na, that will be stored in name, email, and password fields. And now we are setting that values to the u. Now whatever you entered, na, it is now under the object called as u. U dot set name, u dot set email, u dot set password. It is under this. Now just look here. I'm calling the save method of which one? User DAO. And I'm passing what? U object. I'm passing the U object. What is it? Whatever you enter here, na, that will be stored in an object called as U, and that object is passed on to the save method. So if it is successful, if the record is inserted, then it will redirect to which one? Login.html. So that's what it's happening. Okay. So here U is sent to the save. Where is it? Okay. And that you are now getting u dot get name, u dot get password, u dot get email. We have set the value where? In the servlet, is it not? Registration servlet, we have set the value here. Whatever you entered in the form now, that will be stored here. Again, from there, you are getting that back. Okay. So how? With getter method. So setter method is used to store, and getter method is used to get back. Get back. Okay. So that's the thing, people. So now, and that value, whatever you enter, now, that is passed on to this placeholder. That you know, right? Yes. So execute update. That is how you are saved. So what is that actually happening? Whatever you enter here, that is taken into the from the JSV file. It is taken to the servlet, and it is stored in an object called as user object U, and that U object is passed on to which one? DAO, and from that DAO it is inserted to database. That is the flow. In the meantime, it will interact with which one? Model class. So that user object. So whatever you enter here, na, that will be stored in an object called as user with the help of setter method of the model class, and that again it is updated to the database. So we'll just try to register that. Okay. And one more thing, while creating a database table, make a note of that your field should be single atomic. Field name should be atomic. You should not have a field called as user. Username is fine. Like it should be something like first name, middle name, and last name. You should not have a field called as name. It should be fully atomic. So I'm talking about normalization. As per normalization, first normalization, your database field should be atomic. Atomic means what? Single value field. So if there is a field called as full name, split into first name, middle name, and last name. If there is a field called as address, make it as house number, street, city, pin code, and put it in a second table, another table, where we are creating one to one relationship, all those things. Are you aware of RDBMS? So please check out your normal forms. First normal form, second normal form, and third normal. That is, okay. That's important. So I'm just giving your username Rod Johnson. Okay. So Rod Johnson is a person who invented Spring Framework. So rod at spring.com. Okay. So I'm just registering a new user and click on submit. Okay. I could have displayed a message telling registered successfully. Hmm? So it's directly taking me to which one? Login. Hmm? So I'll just try to log in. Rod at spring.com. Spring.com. Okay. Hello, 1, 2, 3. Hmm? Sorry, brother. Correct. Oh, yeah, it was a mistake. Yeah. Con M. Yeah. Spelling mistake. Just look, yeah. While I registered, right? My data user object is going and storing in table. Rod Johnson. This is encrypted. Rod at spring dot. Okay, there was a spelling mistake. Con M. Yeah. CONM. So it's taking me to the products page. Okay. Here it's your job, people. Here it's your job. Your product should be displayed here. Hmm? And it should be an option to update and delete. And you need to add a new product. Okay. Our connection is already there. You need to create what now? Product.java one model class. One model class called as product.java. What will be the properties? ID, name, category, price. Same table you have to create there. Okay. And connection is same. And you will be creating one DAO class called as product DAO. You'll be creating a DAO class called as product DAO. If you want to save a product, already we have a code. Of which one? The way you saved the user. Similarly, you have to save a product. So then update, delete, display. Okay. So I'll try to display in the afternoon if I have time. I'll try to display the what products. I'll create one dummy table and try to display the product. Okay. This much I did after going yesterday after going home. Okay. So that's one. So all those things you can just see. These are all CSS people. Hmm? So I'm able to log in successfully. So once you log in, as I told you, assignment, you need to perform the CRUD operation on the product. A user will log in and he will manage a product. That is the assignment. A user will log in and he will manage the products. Okay, he will add a product, he will delete a product, he will update a product, and he can see the view the product. So now, yeah, this is what I was talking about encryption. Okay, it is encrypted in a base 64 format. So where were we? We were in the this part, right? In the servlet, which servlet? Registration servlet. Here, you can just see now if there was any exception, it will throw the exception. So if the record inserted, if that I is greater than 0, then it will redirect to login.html. That is how you are getting the login.html file there. So in login.html, we'll go to login.html now. Yes, this is also one template file. Okay. Okay, here we are using this font awesome icons. Font awesome icons. So what is this font awesome icons? That phase this. Okay. FA icons, font awesome icons. Twitter and Facebook icons are there. That is called as font awesome icons. For adding that, we just added. Hmm? And this is a GIF image. This is nothing but a GIF image. Hmm? So we are in login.html. We are in login.html. So here also we have just look here people. We have email and password, all this thing stuff. So just look, your form is only this much. The rest are all other CSS and bootstrap stuff. Now, form action. Just look at people. Listen here. Form action, login, servlet. Form action, login, servlet. Okay, method equals 4. So this will take you to the login servlet here. So two servlets I created, login and registration. So it will take you to login servlet, and here same. I'm getting that parameter, email and password, login email and login password. And here also I'm using that get connection. Okay, where is it? In the DB connection method, now we have that, and I'm just getting that and storing it in an object as user dog. And using that object, I'm calling the user login method. I'm passing email and password. So what is this, people? So in the user dog, we have one more method there called as user login, which will return the type as user. The person has logged in, his information is returned. So that's why return back is return type is user. In the previous case, what is the return type? Connection, right? Sorry, integer. Why? One record inserted, two record inserted, like that. In the connection, DB connection, the return type was connection. Java.sql connection. So in the login servlet, the return type is user. Sorry, in the user Java, yeah. Return type is user. The person who has logged in successfully now is return type. His information has to be returned. The object of user object has to be returned. So that is what. So the save function is taking what? The parameter as user object, and this is returning the user object. So parameters are email and password. Yes. Now, just look here. This is very much important. How we are storing the password? In the encrypted format. So if you directly read, now login means what? Whatever you have entered in a password field, that has to be matched with the database field, is it not? If you directly match, checks what happens, it will always say wrong password. So that is why we are again encrypting. Whatever you have entered now, that should be encrypted and stored in encrypt password. Okay, what is password.get bytes? This. So whatever you are entering in the field, this password field, that will be encrypted and checked with the password field of the database table, like that. So whatever you entered in the password field in a form, it is stored here. Now we are writing one more. Yeah, now it is select statement. Why select statement? So it's checking select star from user where email and password equals. It should match the fields whatever you entered in the login form. Okay. We are executing the query and we are passing this email, but to this we are passing what? Encrypted password. Okay. So now we are using execute query. Why execute query? Because it is a select statement. So now we are traversing. If rs.next, what is rs? Result set. What is result set, people? It will have it's a virtual table. Result set is something which will, now when you just say select start from customer, whatever you get now, that will be stored where? Result set. It's a virtual table. So that virtual table you are traversing. You are checking whether it has records. So rs.next. So user object is created and we are setting the values with the cust ID name and email. Okay, if it is having, we are setting with the user, and that user you are returning. So first of all, of course, it will fetch only if the email and the password is matching to the things whatever you have entered there. If it is matching, then it will check in the record result set whether you have it. If you are having it, it will return the user. Okay. So as per the user, he can only register and he can only log in. So the task of user DAO is finished here. The task of user DAO is finished. He does not have any other task. Okay. So now we are going back to which one? From where you are calling this? Login servlet here. Okay. So that user will be returned to this. In case if that password and username does not match, what happens? It will just say user not equals to null. So it will create a session. This is very much important. If the login is successful, if the login is successful, we are creating a session. Request dot get session. Actually, they are writing in a single line. So normally, how will you write request dot get session? In the next statement, session dot set attribute. But we can write inline also like this. Request dot get session set attribute auth. What does it have? What does he has? User nothing but rod. For example, rod at sun.com, spring.com. His name is in auth. So we are creating a session. Okay. So till the session ends, till you log out, na, this information will be there. This information will be there. The person who has logged in. Actually, here we can display. Once you log in, na, we can display. Welcome here, na. Here somewhere you can display. Welcome Raj. Welcome Rod, like that. We can display. That's why we are creating what? Session. That's why we are creating a session there. So we're creating a session, and after that, if the user is not equals to null, we are creating a session and we are redirecting to products.jsp. You got the point now how we are navigating from servlets to JSP. Servlet is processing. And what is JSP? View or a response. JSP is another word, what? Views. Okay. So that is why as soon as I log in, I am coming to what? Products.jsp. Just check the flow of how the technology stack is used. HTML, servlet is for controller. So when I register, it will go to the servlet and then it will come to the JSP. Like that. Again, loop. Okay, in the meantime, it will interact with what? Model, then DAO connection to the database. So make sure that exception handling is done here. Okay, anyhow, it is a compile time, is it not? It will unchecked exception, right? So you need to write the try catch block. So all those things. So we'll go to products.jsp. So product.jsp is here. Just okay, I'm just given this a normal table. Now here, if you have many products, just get the idea, people. I have a products table, and if there are many products, what should be done? You can use that JSTL tags to display the products. Look, for each JSTL for each to display the products. You can also use scriptlets or you can use JSTL. Wait just a minute. So, what else we require? We require now for assignment stuff. What we require? Product. In the model class, what we require? Product.java. In the DAO, we require product DAO. The connection is already there. Product DAO. And servlet we require to perform the actions. Okay. So I think you can do. It's not an issue. Yeah. So just look here, people. If you're using JSTL, if you're using JSTL, okay, as soon as my user logs in, na, the product list should be displayed in the tabular format. So just look here, it's how we are done with the JSTL. How we are doing with the JSTL. So same table, everything is there. What is this? For each. JSTL for each. Okay, no scriptless, nothing. For each. And we're using this EL to display ID, name, password, email, and country. Here I'm closing for each. If there are 10 records, all the 10 records will be displaying row wise. Just look here. Actually, there is only one TR. TR means what? Table row. So as it is in the loop now, if there are 10 records, all the 10 rows will be created. Huh? So is it not? Instead of scriptlet, we can always use which one? JSTL. So I would ask you to use JSTL only to displaying the product list. I'll be sharing this. Okay. Or I'll see that how I can do that. Share it with you like that. Is it not? So no need of that normal scriptlet way of writing the code. We can also use doing like this. Okay, so I think we have that 3 days gap now. You can just try to finish in your laptops. Okay, so make sure that the software jar files are everything proper. Yeah, just listening up, people. Yes, yeah, on cookies. So normally we will do the session handling using HTTP session. We can also do the session handling using cookies. Okay. So that's a one way of session handling. Means storing the information about the user and the user, but in the client side. Okay. So here also we have a so I'll give the username as Mike. Okay. So for my Mike, we'll just try to check it. Hmm? So cookie.html, you can just hear cookie.html. So run on server. So I need to enter the username as Mike only. Okay. Press 1, 2, 3. So this is the information will be stored in a browser's memory. So login successful. Welcome, Mike. Okay. So now we can inspect. So how we can where it is stored. The cookie information where it is stored in the browser. So in the browser's memory, just look here. I'll inspect. Here I'll just go to application. Application. Here you can just see cookies. Okay. From localhost 8080. Yeah, we can just look in a user Mike. So here it shows everything. Name user value equals Mike domain path when it will expire. That also we have specified. Okay, I'll show you that. So like that. So you the next time when you log into same URL, it will take the value from the browser. Okay. So that is how whatever you enter in the forms, now they'll be stored in the cookies. So what actually why it is storing here? So while sending a response, we are just trying to do here. Just look here. Form action cookie login servlet. So I've declared two variables. Okay. Means it has to compare with Mike and test 1, 2, 3. We can also write other logic. I just declared one constant Mike user and test 1, 2, 3. So here I'm getting the parameters. If that is equal to the things whatever you entered here, if it is matching. So now we are creating a session using cookie. This is the syntax. Cookie A equals new cookie. Same in the format how you create an object. Okay, this is the syntax for creating a session using cookies. Cookie login cookie equals new cookie. This is the name and value will be this. So what is this value? What have you entered in the form? Now this is not mandatory, but I am setting a expiry in 30 minutes. So login cookie dot set max size 30 into 60. Okay, means 30 minutes. Then in the response, I'm adding the cookie. So response dot add cookie is a method. What cookie I'm adding? Login cookie. So what does login cookie has? Mic and the expiry time of 30 minutes. So that I'm sending and attaching to the response. That I'm sending and attaching to the response. So response dot send redirect to which one? Login success. Okay. So what is login success? Servlet. Login success is one more servlet. So here we are requesting the cookies. Whatever you are sent there, na, that you are requesting and you are storing the form of arrays. Why? Because it has a value plus expiry, all those things. That is why. So if cookie is not equals to null, We are traversing in that array and we are getting the name to get value. Okay, get value and storing it in this particular user. If it is null, then it will redirect to cookie.html. Okay, so that's what it happens. So that is why this information, right? When you just say response dot send redirect, it will go to the browser, right? In the browser, it will be stored. Browser, it will be stored. Here we are traversing and we are displaying it. Okay, we're checking whether the cookie exists or not. So that is how in the inspect user as value as Mike. Okay, then this is the ID. This is a ID, session ID. You can just see here. And here you can just see it will expire. Yeah, 12 to they're giving the value there. 743. Yeah, of course, after 30 minutes, if you see now, it will not be here in the browser's memory. Okay, so that's what. Hmm. Now this value is stored here, right? Information. So before half an hour, if you try to log into the same thing, from where the data will be got from the browser, it will not go to the server. So what is the help of cookies, people? Each time when you try to log in, from where the data has to be got? From the server. Normally it will be getting from the server. So cookie is such a technology that where first time when you're trying to log in, the cookie will be created and your few informations can be stored in browser's memory. Next time when you try to log in within that particular interval of time, then what happens? Will it go to the server and get the data? No, it will take from the browser's memory or cookies. So it will improve the performance. That's the usage of cookies like that. Okay. And yes, and people who are working on UI while implementing CSS, try to implement responsiveness. While you design the CSS na, for a web application, try to implement responsiveness. What is responsiveness? The layout of your web application should change as per the device width. As per the device width. I'm talking about media queries. I'm talking about media queries. Have you seen that? You might have seen this kind of tags in the CSS file. This is for responsiveness. This is for responsiveness. Okay. So make it for three devices. Make it for three devices. Laptop, mobile, and iPad. Okay. For three devices. Because that should be that is the standard nowadays. They will argue that. So this assignment, how we done previously? Individual, and try to change the layout, the background, everything. You can go for the side navigation bar also. I'm telling. So I'll upload the project in a zip format. What I designed, huh? I'll upload in the zip format. होगा ना cloud lab में लेगा. Okay. You unzip it. You create your own project. Again, you don't modify that. Try to create your own MVC based project. As I showed you, creating a packages, folders, adding the jars. Adding the jars, all those things. First of all, you do that. Fine. So meet in the lab. And people are not coming. We'll meet on Tuesday. Okay. Anyhow, the second batch is same, not strength. Okay. So from Tuesday, we're starting with the hibernate. Hibernate. Hmm. So we'll remove that worriness of creating tables manually. So tables will be created automatically, and jar files also will be downloaded automatically. No need of manually downloading the jar files. Okay. नमस्ते नमस्ते ಯಾವಾಗ ಹೌದೌದು ನೋಡಿದೆ ಮೊನ್ನೆ ಮಂಜುನಾಥ್ ಹಾಕಿತ್ತು ಗಡಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಎಕ್ಸಿಬಿಷನ್ ಯಾವಾಗ ಅಲ್ಲ ಹಾ, ಅದೇ ಈಗ ಅವ್ರ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್